as a tank, so I wasn't sure.
Are you talking about the draft guide doc?
Yeah.
It's the phalanx that plays the tank. So there's, I wouldn't worry about like off tanks or anything crazy. People don't like Ho-Oh as tank because ideally you want your tank to frontline, and with Ho-Oh's ult you want Ho-Oh to be the last one alive. So it kind of
Right.
contradicts itself, but it's still fine to be played in the tank role. You just need to have another bulky character to fill the tank role on the team. If that makes sense. All right. So sharing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down each tank, kind of their specialties, and kind of go a little bit in depth on each of them, and kind of how you want to play them, and then gonna hop into a like practice area, and show a little bit there. Uh, I don't expect you guys to remember all the information. It's a lot. It's just a scope for you to kind of open the door, and then like 2 weeks from now, be like, oh, we went over that night at coaching. Now I understand, type of thing. Um, okay, so first up, Blastoise. All of your Pokemon, read their descriptions, read their passives, their attacks, everything. You don't have to do it like don't just go read all of them, tonight because it's gonna be a lot. But like when you're trying to one trick and learn the Pokemon, that's when you want to go in like right before you start playing, give it a good read, give it a good breakdown. Um, Blastoise, it's got a really good early game, because it can push the farm away and then it has a stun with Headbutt. What it falls off in the mid game, and it's a scaling tank because it needs to level up to evolve, and then once you hit 9, it's got a really good ult. It has two main builds for tank. There's the rapid spin, hydro pump build, which if you haven't seen, it's just a lot of micro stuns just over and over again. And then surf hydro pump build, where it's a really hard double push, AOE pushes, and then its ult is really good for engaging. Blastoise would be an engage tank, not a protect tank, but it can provide peel. Do you guys know what peel means? All right, so peel is, think of it like peeling, potatoes. I think you peel potatoes. I don't cook. I don't know. Think of it like peeling potatoes or onions. Somebody is on your attacker or your carry or one of your teammates, and you have to peel them back. So that it's getting them off of the character that they want to damage and pushing them away to another side. The difference between peeling and protect is a high burst damage character. You're not going to have the time to prep up the surf, aim it correctly, and hit it 100% of the time. So you're going to be wanting to like push them far away with the surf, obviously because the surf kind of is a long triangulated move. So you can't sit right on top of them, which the more protect tanks will go into a bit. So your main engage is surf into hydro pump into ult, or a big tool is eject ulting. So you pop your ult, they're all out of range. You eject, you pop them all up. You're creating 3 to 4 seconds of stun for your team to just kind of blow them up. Blast is really good at that. Crustle is an interesting tank. It doesn't have a very good early game, but it does. If you get good at the micro of its rock slide, you can cause a lot of farms to secure your way, and set up a lot of good secures, or no, a lot of stuns for setup for your attacker to do damage to trade health. Um, its big two things are it creates a wall. So if you get really good at angling the walls and trapping your opponents, it's pretty much the only mon in the game that can do it. You can close between gaps on the lane between the bushes. You can close pads off from them trying to get to you. They have to have some sort of movement ability to get through the wall. Um, and then its ult is a really good, if they're going to pop a lot of damage and your ult catches it, they then take a bunch of damage. Just from your ult, and it's a little micro stun. And then the X Scissor is also a pretty good damage move. It can 75% pretty much every squishy in the game. It doesn't fit the role of engage or protect because it has such a unique thing with the wall. So it's trapping them to set up the engage for your teammates, or it's X scissoring for the engage for them to follow up. This and Lapras are going to kind of fit into the same category of like unique tanks. Any questions on Blastoise or Crustle before I go on? Probably should ask that after Blastoise, sorry.
For Crustle, I'm assuming the main move set would be just the wall and then X Scissor.
Yep, you'd be right. Sorry, I took a bite.
Okay.
If you ask me something and I delay for a second, I apologize. It's because I have food in my mouth and I don't want to sound like a munchkin.
How dare you eat?
Oh man, I was doing so much and then realized what time it was and was like, damn, if I don't eat now, I'm not gonna eat till like 11 o'clock. Gotta eat something. Goodra is a very weird tank because its primary like special ability is just that it's tanky. So the enemy team just ignores it and then kills it last, and you do nothing. You have to be like 3 inches away to set up engages. It's a really fun mon to play, but in coordinated teams, it's a really hard mon to work. So I wouldn't even worry too much about Goodra. Greedent is a specialty mon. Somebody pinged me? God dang, peoples. Best jungler for real. Oh my god, this guy. So Greedent is a guerrilla tactic tank. It has a lot of stuns. It provides a good amount of damage, but it doesn't want to protect anything, and it doesn't want to sit in the front and take damage. It wants to just kind of cause chaos throughout the map. Think of like a Sableye. I wouldn't worry too much about Greedent unless either one of you are kind of like micro specialists at it already. Is that the case at all? Okay. That's fair. See, that's fair. Okay. We're gonna skip that one. Don't want to go too in. I don't want to like go too in depth on the mons that just like I don't see any viability in learning it right now. They're good to pick up once you master all the tanks and you just want to have fun with them. But if you're not like a one trick on them already, it's kind of pointless. Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh's broken. If we don't know Ho-Oh or we can't play Ho-Oh, strongly recommend learning it. Just because, especially with the new ban system, it's going to be a lot easier to get the broken mons through the draft. Its special thing is it revives the team. You need points to do it. But its other special thing is when it has fly, it can sit into pockets on the map that it can't take damage from most opponents. Sacred Fire is a micro stun, and Flamethrower is a regenerating ability. It's got a really strong early game with Tailwind. You can secure almost any farm from the enemy bot lane, unless they have like an Intel Slowbro. The weird thing about Ho-Oh, like we mentioned before, is you don't want to put it in the front, even though it's a tank, and it doesn't have a lot of setup for engage. It pretty much just has its slow or the one little micro stun. But if we haven't, I would put this on your guys' to learn list. Just do it slowly. We don't have to one trick it or anything.
is very fun.
Demon. Demon, demon.
I have yet to get, but I got Umbreon first.
Okay. No worries. I mean, it's slowly but surely. Um, and I wouldn't, anything I say where I'm like, hey, you should practice this, I wouldn't go out and just spend money on it or anything crazy like that. It'll come with time. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Lapras was a top laner on release, even though it's a defender. It has both movesets are viable. Whirlpool, not Whirlpool, what's it called? Water Pulse is the sustain set where you just want to be full tanky. Both Ice Beam and Bubble Beam have good stuns. They can set up for peel. They can set up micro engages where like you hit them with a Bubble Beam and then your Speedster dives them and they're blown up. Its ult can travel all the way around the map, so you can set up a ton of micro plays with it, or not micro plays, a ton of macro plays with it. And you can, if you get a good enough ult, you can end up winning the whole fight just on the ult because there's like a 3-second stun. So it's, hey, I'm going in, I'm ulting, boom, I crash into a whole team, your whole team dives them, they disappear. Perish Song is something you want to play when you have an elusive attacker that doesn't need any type of peel or protection. Think of like Mew. And it's just extra damage, and you can execute them so you don't have to worry about those pesky little 1 HP mons getting away. Between Bubble Beam and Ice Beam, I prefer Ice Beam, but Bubble Beam is also really good. That kind of just comes down to your preference on the mon itself. It's boosted autos with Water Pulse is the healing set again, so either build can work. If you guys like Lapras, I would recommend playing it, but you don't have to. It's not top tier. It's not breaking the meta or anything crazy.
What are some other mons that would push you to play Perish Song Lapras?
Uh, bot side specifically, an Espeon is fine, a Sylveon is fine. Um, Let me do
Is
this.
this more of a long range?
Those are both like mid range.
Any attacker that might wear a focus band, Perish Song can be useful.
Go here. So like Armarouge Fire Spin is also fine. Chandelure, no. Cinderace, no. Cramorant, if their dive cram is fine. Desi, no. Delphox, no. Deepult shouldn't be played down there. Dura, no. Espeon's good. Guardy's fine. Glaceon, no. Greninja, no. Inteleon, no. Although Inteleon Snipe Shot is kind of fine with it because it can get away, but I feel like Inteleon still wants a little bit of peel. Latias, no. Mew and Mewtwo-Y are both fine. And then nothing on the bottom row except for Sylveon. I hope that helped. I didn't know if it was better.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I just like actually like having an example of the Pokemon is helpful because I play Water Pulse most of the time. Never really dabbled into Perish Song too much, so it'd be nice to learn it.
See, I'm the complete opposite because I'm a top lane main most of the time. So I only played Perish Song, never played Water Pulse. Mamoswine is an interesting tank because it has a really strong early game. Its mid game falls off, but it can create some of the best engages that you could ever see. You can go either move set. The Ice Crash high horsepower is a bit trickier in my opinion to get to work. Ice Fang Earthquake would be the one I recommend. Eject Earthquakes are huge. You can suck in 4 people, set up a huge opportunity for your attacker or your speedster to go and blow them up. Ice Fang itself is a great counter to a lot of mons because all you have to do is grab them and then they're stuck for 4 seconds and you can reposition them. You have to be careful. Mamoswine doesn't like protecting. It can't. So I want to preface this because this is actually a good example. All Kanks have the ability to protect your team, but the opportunity cost to do so is going to be so hard because if you're a Mamoswine, you're playing backline with your attacker to try and protect it. You have no front line, so they can kind of just walk up. and you have to hold your move for exactly when it lands on your attacker instead of trying to find the opening for you to go on them. It just makes it infinitely harder. High horsepower, you have to be careful when playing. If you don't have a team comp that can take advantage of the push, it can take opportunity away from your team dealing damage because they launched a skill, but all of a sudden you push them 10 feet all across the map. Icicle Crash is also just an AoE kind of damage, and you can freeze them and high horsepower them into it. Kind of a skilled move set. I would recommend just playing Earthquake Ice Fang. I think it's easier. I think it's better. Icy plus HH combo is a must if you play that build. So he's saying, like, if you drop the Icicle Crash, you want to high horsepower them into it. It's kind of how you build the combo. Use the Icicle Crash to control the distance and do damage. Alright, Slowbro. Slowbro will now be your, like, main protect tank. He's kind of who you want sitting on your attackers. You see anybody, you press one button, and now they're stuck in the air for 12 seconds, just ready to die. Your callouts on Slowbro are very, very important. If you just press your button and don't say anything, your team isn't going to know that you're ulting somebody important, and then they're going to live your ult, and all of your advantage just went away. Surf is a very good hindrance. You can drop it down, and it's like three micro stuns back to back to back, so they can't really walk forward through it. Telekinesis, a grab, you can reposition them, also very good. And Scald, it's a damage debuff, and it's a slow. So hits ult kit is based around, hey, there's somebody here. Level 11 has 3 stuns, otherwise it's 1 stun. Okay, didn't know that. Surf has to get Surf Plus to have the 3 stuns, otherwise it's 1 stun. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Oh, its whole kit is based around, hey, you want to get to this guy, I'm going to stop you. You can bush check with Slowbro, and you can face check the enemy's damage with Slowbro, but you don't want to leave your guys out by themselves for an easy gank unless you have an opportunity. I don't know if you guys were both here when I was talking about it before, but eject ulting with Slowbro can just win you the entire fight. So it's a very risky move, but it's good when it happens, but it's not something you should be like uber prioritizing unless you're behind and you need to end the fight quickly. Snorlax, probably the best tank in the game in my opinion. It can do so much. It's kind of the defender version of Hoopa. Kind of going to give a brief breakdown. Heavy Slam plus Eject plus Block. So we have a big stun, we have a reposition, and we have a shield granting knockback on cooldown. So some of the things that we can do with those, we can set up big team engagements because we have an AoE stun. We can set up sneaky plays because we have eject. We have insane shield regeneration with the block, so we can live forever. We can play hard peel with all of those. We can look for invades. We can get objectives into goals. We can create space. We can live for a long time. Let's see. We can invade off the rip right at the start of the game and put a lot of pressure on their jungler. We can kind of just walk up to pads and walk away pretty free. We have a berry passive, which gives us a speed boost when we're around berries. Just trying to find it. I don't know where it goes. Are there any questions specifically on this mon, or like things you can do, or things you've seen people do, or anything like that? He's one that if we haven't like mastered down yet, I would add him at the top of your list.
I
Because I'm
think,
about to ask that actually. If I
yeah,
could
I've always
if we did
struggled
it.
with this guy. Anytime I've tried to play him, I feel like I'm like super dying so fast, and I'm like, I don't know what exactly.
Snorlax gets really punished if you decide to engage and you don't have any backup. He's a lot like Slowbro in that sense, but Slowbro, at least when you hit your amnesia or you hit your telekinesis, you have the oblivion health that you can get back.
Yeah.
But so for Snorlax, a lot of it is making sure you're never too far from the follow up. You got to be
Okay.
less than one heavy slams distance away from your follow up.
Okay,
Unless
so
unless you're
basically,
like calling that you're gonna flash in and you know they're coming, kind of stuff.
so like stick with the attacker, basically.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna cancel that notion.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
Jay. Sorry, Jay. That I don't want you to get that in your head. Sorry. So
Okay.
his first half of that where he said, you want follow up on like your engages, completely right. If you're going to go in and like there's a lot of them, you're gonna want your team around you, right? We don't want to just go in because we're a tank and think we can live. We don't want to do that. However, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but just for the reasoning why I'm saying the second part is wrong. You want on tank, you want to roam the map. You want to be everywhere. You don't want to just sit by your attacker. That's the only reason I wanted to counter that. As for like living through the engages, block is your best friend. Okay, so heavy slam into block, you're walking out of anything. They can have all five there. Your block, unless they commit like a lot of ults or have a lot of mages that do a lot of high burst, you're living walking out of block. Now I don't recommend diving them if you don't have follow up anyway. That's kind of just a bad play. But do you guys have any examples of things that happened in games where you struggle with the Snorlax?
Well, I think just like getting the block for me to work, like I'll be near my team and I'll be blocking and I still die and I'm like, how am I hitting this wrong? I don't. I guess I'm just like,
So you want to, if you're going in right and you're blocking and your team is there and you're dying, but the enemy isn't dying, then there's two things wrong. A, your team isn't following up on you. B, you're walking forward with the block when you should be walking backward with the block into a safer distance.
okay.
So it's a little bit of deciding when we're pushing, when we're not, and that is so much easier in a 5 stack than it is on solo queue. Solo queue
Yeah. I
is a
don't like the
nightmare.
solo queue thing, so I'm always like, I avoid Snorlax.
Yeah, no, solo queue is an absolute nightmare for like engages and follow up. I wouldn't recommend basing your ability on him off of any solo queue games because
Okay.
you can
I
have.
also am
Go ahead, sorry.
kind of confused on his Unite move, on how that works. Because I know he like snores during it, but I was like, I don't. And I know you can accidentally get out of it, but I wasn't exactly sure how exactly the move works.
So you want to unite move with him in two scenarios. One, it's a follow up to your heavy slam engage. Two, you just took a whole bunch of damage and you need to heal. So
Okay.
your first press of the unite, you're gonna lay down. It's gonna be a stun, an AOE stun, and you're gonna recover health. Then
Hmm.
there's a second button press that you can press of your unite, and he does a belly flop, which also is an AOE stun, and you're still regaining health. So basically, you
Okay, is
take.
it the same button
Yes, it's
for
just.
the Unite move? Okay.
Yep, yep.
Because I feel like sometimes I would press it and he would just stand up, and I was like, I thought he was supposed to flip. But
Mm, yeah, no, that if that did happen, it's probably a bug at some point.
okay.
Which with this game I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, so he flips. He boom, flip, boom, and then so what I like doing is I'll heavy slam in, ult right after, flop again, and then I'll heavy slam out of my ult for another stun.
Okay.
I might have. Hold on, bear with me a second. I'll look to see if I have this.
Is it the build which is just better than your first
Moveset or items, do you mean?
move set?
Heavy slam block is a lot better. Yawn niche is very unique, and heavy slam yawn is also very unique, but it's playable. It's not, you can't play it, it's just specific circumstances that allow it. Um,
And then, because I have enough points to, because I currently don't actually have Snorlax yet, so I have enough points to get Snorlax, but I'm wondering if I should save up for Ho-Oh.
get Snorlax.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Also, what items would you recommend him holding?
Uh,
Aside, of course, XP share, but
Jake,
in general.
can you help with that one?
There are two main ways to look at it. You're either going to run Focus Band or you're going to run Leftovers, and then the last item is Buddy Barrier almost every time. You can run Resonant Guard. So for the first pairing, the Leftovers versus Focus Band, it all comes down to, are you looking to fight early game? Leftovers helps you roam, Focus Band helps you fight. Buddy Barrier, 99% of the time, you can run Resonant Guard if you want to help your early game, because that is where the Resonant it's going to make the most impact is before level 7. But otherwise, Buddy Barrier, Buddy Barrier, Buddy Barrier, it's phenomenal.
Okay.
I was trying to find a video that I played Snorlax the other night, but I don't have it. It's gonna mess up the stream. Okay, I fixed it. All right. Do we have any other questions on Snorlax before we go to the next tank? Cool, cool, cool. Trevenant. Trevenant is a very heavy damage, heavy crowd control base tank. Its biggest drawback is hitting level 5 and then hitting your skill shots to sustain. So, in an ideal world, if we could land a full curse blow up for big stun into Horn Leech, I'm sorry, we could land a big Horn Leech into the curse bomb into another Horn Leech. We literally CC them for around 8 to 9 seconds. And they would just die if you had any type of follow up. The problem with that is Curse, you have to walk up into them, and Horn Leech, you have to be in range, obviously, and hit the shot. The other move set of Woodhammer Horn Leech, very good also, but it has a skill shot to it to where you can pull them back from being behind you, even though the move skill frame doesn't show that it can work. So it takes a lot of practice to kind of get that down. But if you were going to work on Trevenant, that would be the first thing I'd work on, was getting the Woodhammer kind of off frame stun. Woodhammer, double Woodhammer into Horn Leech is also really good. And Curse Pain Split is also very good, but it's not very protect friendly. It's not, you're going to want to set up engages. It's more for like a Lapras or who's the other? Crustle, where you want to, was it? Nope, not Crustle. Lapras. Who was the other tank that I put? Sorry, so much information, I forget what I say. Um, okay, Lapras and X's or Crustle, where you want to be up in their face, kind of hitting them. And Pain Split is also a really good counter to like speedsters and things like that, because it's constant damage and it loses their speed gauges. Trevenant can be played both protect and engage. It's better at engaging, but it has a lot of tools to protect, if that makes sense. And then our last tank, Umbreon. Umbreon is broken. Apparently on Unite DB it only has 2 moves. Best 2 moves in the game. Its big thing is it can be played tank/support roles. All of its movesets are good, and its Unite steals shields. So its specialty would be stealing the shields. Mean Look with follow-up is great. Mean Look plus anything is really good at learning like engages and comms and follow-up. Snarl is an awesome stun. Umbreon has probably one of the best full team engages where you pop X speed, run at their whole team, pop them Snarl, stun them right into ult, and it's like a 6-second stun slow, and your team just gets evaporated. Umbreon can be Protect with Mean Look, it can be Engage with Mean Look, it can be Engage with Snarl, it can also be played super hard Engage with Foul Play, which is a double stun move, or a double 2-hit, 1 stun move. I don't recommend the tank playing Wish unless you team really, really needs heals. I think Snarl's debuffs plus range of stun and survivability is just way too good. But ultimately it comes up to you guys.
Would you say, because I know there was one game when we were going against an Inteleon, would you like do Wish in that instance where you
Yeah.
know they're gonna hit really hard?
If they have if they have really hard poke and you have no heals, and they don't have anything that is like giga oppressive that you need to stun, I would go Wish, yeah.
Okay.
Because if we break down like the win cons of the game, if we don't have a heal, their win con is just poke us with Inteleon and we have to dive their face, but they can just kite back and kill us. So in that scenario, yes, you are correct.
Okay.
And just like anything with this game, there's always if this, but then that. There's very few hard rules, but this is just like the basis to kind of build on, so that like when you go into the game, you can see like, oh, they have the intel. Now I know I usually like Snarl, but I want to go Wish this time because I don't have any heals to protect. So it's just to kind of keep building those blocks up. Whew, I talk a lot. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions on any of the tanks overviews that we went over?
Nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll probably pop up with questions as I continue to play, but at the moment,
Cool, cool, cool. Are you guys free to hop in a practice lobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully my internet works.
Oh, yep, I
It's
forgot.
been
I'd
coming in
pray,
and out
I'd
all
pray
day.
for it.
But like,
I'd pray for it.
You can also just watch on the stream. You don't have to worry about
yeah,
getting on.
just here. Let me grab my Switch out of the dock, and we'll try that way.
Hmm.
Because my like wired connection is what's
Well,
being weird,
it
which is
it'll probably actually be better just for you guys to watch now that I think about it, because that way you can just focus on what I'm doing instead of following me through.
yeah.
So this is kind of similar to what I put in your practice notes too, Ari, about going into the practice area and finding your secure ranges. Something that I want you to do. I think it was you. Was it you? Yeah, it was you.
Yeah, it was, and then Silver.
Yep, yep. I noticed.
Getting used to the water gun like mechanics is the process.
Yep.
It was the same with flamethrower for Ho-Oh, where I was just like, this is the holding down is something I have to relearn.
Oh my god, the flamethrower was terrible. I hate trying to aim that thing. Oh, they put the new map, right? It's not still Remote Stadium.
Ready, go!
Alright. So First thing you guys should do on all of your tanks is learn what your secure range is. Oh, I forgot how to play the game. Farm doesn't spawn there anymore. You can do it one of two ways. You can punch them until they get low enough for you to secure it, or what I like doing is I'll just hit it from...
Are we supposed to see your screen?
Yes. Do you not see my screen?
No, it's still the web browser.
Wow. Way to go. Way to go. I'm batting 100. Alright, there we go. Everything was so much easier when I had two monitors. This. I am. That's crazy. It's giving me the hands. Alright. Oh, well, look how much health I heal. So, as an example, you can punch them and then try and figure out what your secure range is. But what I like to do is I'll hit them with the move so I can gauge how much damage it does. So Snorlax is about 30% on the Bunnelby, and it's about 25% on the Audino. So lane phase happens. We're gonna say in this instance that we don't get ganked. Normal 2v2. Everyone lives. Okay. Next up is the 8 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to roam. Anytime where we don't have a clear objective, we want to be roaming. So we want to come through here, maybe come down here, get vision on where they're coming, who's coming. We want to come up here, jungle. Okay, 8 minutes spawning. 8-minute fights happen, cool. We're gonna go crash the lane, maybe it's top lane, maybe it's bot lane. Now it's neutral time, objectives coming back up. We want to be back in our lane for the bees that are coming up at 720. I got the bees. Then again, if we see them, we want to communicate that to our team, and we want to keep vision, right? So we don't want to stand here getting poked just for free, but we want to walk in the bush, walk out of the bush, walk in the bush. Maybe they're hitting us, maybe we don't, but we want to get some type of information to feed to the rest of the team, to let them know, hey, there's 3 people down here, there's 4 people down here, there's whatever's happening, this is what they're doing. Your team should be relaying calls to you also. Your big thing here is vision, information, stuns. So boom, 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 bot objective happens, they're all 5 here. Our team decided that they were going to play for this. So I want to be up, I want to be getting vision, I want to be playing over by the objective. I ideally want to be taking space on their side. And then this is kind of your team calls what they want to do, whether we're rip flipping, we're going for team fight, whatever. So then you kind of, that all happens. Now it's another lull in the game. One thing that happens a lot is bot will become a stalemate, where we're just sitting here trading abilities, nobody's doing anything, nobody's dying, nothing's happening. We want to go get vision, right? We want to see if they're going to rotate up. They're coming through the middle, they're coming down. You know, we want to come back here. If we don't have any vision on them, we want to take another peek in the bush, see if we can find them. Maybe we want to look at their jungle, see if the buffs are up, see if the jungler's here. Top should be feeding information. We should also be feeding information. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know that happens to me and Gil sometimes. Like we just like no one on either side of the team is scoring on bottom.
Yeah.
So at that instance, I should start scanning the top area, like the mid area.
Yep. Yep. Especially if you see like 4 at bot one time, and then 10 seconds later you don't see any. We really got to keep vision on as many people as possible.
You can do it!
So he has, there's no items, but he has a 5-level difference. Popped ult and full comboed, and I lost 25% HP because of block. And this is something you should be practicing too, putting blocks into walls, so it just kind of like micro stuns them instantly. Now, let's say this is the scenario, right? I'm getting attacked by an attacker. I can just walk away, right? I can just clearly get out. I can pop block, get out. What I don't want to do is just waste my time, right? I don't want to sit here and do this. I have no follow-up. I'm not doing anything. I'm not creating any space. And no value is happening. So right here, him chasing me is valued because now I got vision. He left. I turned around. I got vision again. Push him off. See you later. Get another berry. Now I'm full health. Now, in a real game, he probably wouldn't have chased that hard, but I would just keep peeking vision. Every time I lost vision, I would find vision of someone else or him again. If it looks dangerous, you don't have to take the vision chase, and we don't have to engage. We just practice dodging abilities, practice our... Oop, I died. Practice our thresholds to where we know we're going to die, and then learn from it, move on, and keep doing it with every chance you get. So boom, I have vision again. Why does he have ult already? I don't like that. And this is all assuming that our like pads aren't getting pushed, nobody's calling for you to do anything. This is all like downtime stuff. Like the lulls in the game where you don't know what to do, you don't know where to be. Answer is always go find vision, go find something. He wins, I leave. I do want to show you one more thing. Oh. Wasting time farming. Plus, move cooldowns off. Okay. So, let's say we're looking for a team fight. I don't want to do this on one target, but obviously the game only has one target, so it is what it is. So, wait for him to get out of ult again. Oh, he doesn't have cooldown. Oh, he does have cooldowns. So, you heavy slam, boom, ult, belly flop again, heavy slam again, block. 5-part combo, but he just got stunned for 10 seconds. So if there's multiply one person by 3, 4, then half of their team can't do anything for a whole 10 seconds. That's kind of what makes Snorlax kind of broken. That plus his just never dies from block. Any questions or anything didn't make sense, or you need more explanation on, or you want to see again, or any of that?
You lose.
I wouldn't mind going over, like, specifically what items we should probably have equipped for certain Pokemon. Like, especially like Umbreon and Slowbro and I guess Lapras for as well. Since I don't have that one.
So Lapras items I don't like. Umbreon's items on Unite TB are fine. I would go... Actually, that's actually fine too, depending... If they have like a really good healer, Curse and Sense. If not, you can swap it for like a Buddy Barrier or a Res Guard. Typically, your items you want to match with what your team needs. Obviously, XP share always goes on. So it was Umbreon, it was Lapras. Oh wait, no, yeah, Lapras items suck. It'll be XP share, Slick Spoon, or Curse and Sense, depending on if they have a hard healer or not, and then Res Guard, Focus Band for the third one. But I can put that in like a chat, so that way you don't have to try and remember it. Umbreon's items are fine. I would just use Unite DBs. Tweak them if you need to. And then what was the last tanks? Slowbro. Slowbros are also fine. So this is probably your generic tank setup, right? Resguard, Focus Band, Buddy Barrier. It's probably what you just want to put on all of them. And then depending on your matchups, tweak what you need. Even like if they have triple mage, you can put on an assault vest.
But like EXP shares usually have been pretty for defender wise.
Say that again?
I assumed EXP share is like a must if you're going for pure like defender, right?
Yeah, this has the XP share.
Are you showing us something? Showing them something on the screen?
Oh my god, no shot. So I had to swap over from the game screen and I didn't put it back on the Discord screen. I thought it was automatic. Oh man. Yeah, so I should be screen sharing every time. So if I'm like say anything and I'm not screen sharing, just yell at me. So Slowbro's items are fine. This is what you want to put on like all of your tanks, depending on the situational differences that you might swap stuff out for. Umbreon's on Unite DB I think is the same as Slowbro's if I remember right. Yes. Again, normal tank build. The Lapras build, I wouldn't go with. I would just put the normal tank items on. You can run Curse Incense if they have a Clef. I would recommend it because you're not losing anything. So I'd go like EXP Share, Curse Incense, Resguard, Focus Band, Resguard or Focus Band. But generally, I would just throw these 3 items on, and then unless you have a specific tweak, just go with it.
If you don't mind me asking, as an attacker, I typically run Curse if they have heals. Is that a no-go, or can I keep doing that?
Sorry, eating. So you can run Curse if it makes sense, right? So as an example, if you're an Espeon and you're playing Psyshock Espeon that can only target one Pokemon, and you have a Lapras as your tank who can Water Pulse, Repair, Song multiple Pokemon, it makes more sense for the Lapras to have it than it does the Espeon. Where you can just deal more damage as a third damage item.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I got you.
Alright, does anybody else have any questions before I call it a night?
I'm good.
Cool. I will upload this tonight. So it'll be on there if anybody ever wants to look back at it.